Did you know that over 7,000 languages are spoken around the world? What if your app could understand them all, or at least 100+ languages? And what if your app could automatically detect and respond in the right language? Looks interesting, right? Yes, today these are possible because of AI. Hello everyone, my name is Mukesh Kumar. I am Microsoft MVP and I am your co-pilot for today's session. In this video, we will dive into how Azure Language Detection Service works and how you can use it in your own project. By end of this video, you will know how to add this feature to your application and feel more confident in your coding skill using AI. One more thing, by the end of this video, you will get a few bonus tips that will help you to optimize Azure AI language detections, improve accuracy, and even more save cost. First, let's talk about what language detection is. Language detection is the process of figuring out which language a piece of text is written in. This is very important for many applications like translation service, chatbot, and content moderation. Imagine opening an app and instantly it understands your language. No drop-down menus, no manual selections, it just knows. That's the power of AI-driven language detections. And it's more than just convenient. It transforms how we interact with the technology. So let's understand the importance of language detection service. When an app can detect a user language, it can provide content in that language. This makes it easier for user to understand and engage with the app. Companies can analyze data from users around the world. Knowing the language helps them tailor their service and marketing strategy to different regions. Language detections allows for better communications in multilingual environments such as international customer support. Let's understand the process how language detection works whenever you enter text. The system goes through several steps to determine the language. Here, how it happens. First, the AI examines word frequencies and common phrases to identify unique markers in different languages. Next, it looks at syntax structure, grammar rules, and syntax to detect language specific element. Next, AI applies pre-trained models to predict the most likely languages based on massive datasets. This is very important step for detecting the language. In some cases, the AI takes context into account. Certain words or phrases may be influenced by regional dialects or usage. By following above process, AI can accurately determine languages in text inputs, making app smarter and more user-friendly. Now let's look at the Azure OpenAI language service. Language detection is one of the features offered by Azure AI language service, a collection of machine learning and AI algorithm in the cloud for developing intelligent applications that involve written language. Language detection is able to detect more than 100 languages in their primary script. Language detection isn't just a technical feature, it solves real-world problems and enhances user experience across industries. So let's dive and understand a couple of use cases for language detections. Customer support. Imagine you are a customer reaching out for the support to a company, but your message is in Spanish. Instead of waiting for the right agent, language detection automatically identifies the language and route your inquiry to Spanish-speaking representative. This reduces delays, improves customer satisfaction, and makes supports seamless across multiple languages. Content moderation. Social media is filled with billions of posts across different languages. So, how your platform filter harmful content, especially when it is in a multiple language? Language detection helps moderation system understand what language a post is in, flag inappropriate content, and enforce community guidelines regardless of language barriers. Translation service. Here is a cool fact. Before any translation service converts text, it first needs to detect the language. Tools like Google Translate and Azure AI use this feature to automatically determine the language, then translate it into the chosen target language. E-commerce, ever visited an online store and suddenly everything is in your preferred language? That's a language detection at work. E-commerce platform analyze user browsing history or detect the language in their search query to present content in a way that feels natural for them. This makes shopping easier. With Azure AI, detecting and understanding language is too easy. Let's explore how we can set up and integrate this powerful service into our application. Now let's get started with Azure AI by setting up the service step by step. Follow these simple instructions and soon you will have your AI powered language detections ready to go. Click on the search input box from the top and search for Azure AI Service. Just type Azure AI Service and select. It will redirect you to next page where we can see all the available Azure services. So now you can see we have couple of Azure AI services like AI Search Service, Computer Vision Service, Space API Service, and many more. Now just look for Language Service where we will get feature of language detection. So here it is. After finding Language Service, let's click on Create and then click on Continue to create resource. So let's select the subscription on the next page. And here we need to select the resource group. If you have already created resource group, you may select from here, from the drop down. If not, you can create new from here. So let me create a new resource group. Click OK. Next, select the region. As ES use, you can choose your nearest region. Now let's give the name of the service AI Demo Language Service. Choose the pricing tier which is best for your case. Here we are going to choose the standard tiers. Now come down and we have to check this checkbox for acknowledging the responsible AI notice, and now double check everything before you hit create button and click on review and create. Start validating. Now click on create and wait for Azure AI Language Services to be created and deployed. After clicking create, Azure might take few minutes to deploy your resource. You can monitor the deployment status from the notification tab at the top bar. Awesome, service is created without fail and deployed. Let's click on go to resource button and check the service. Now you can find your created service under the grid. So let's click on it. Let's see the two important things here which we will use for our practical implementation. So for it, let's click on keys and endpoints from the left menu. And here you can see two keys and one endpoint at the bottom. Either you can copy one key and endpoint somewhere for your practical, or we will refer it again for the practical demo. For the best practices, let's consider two things. First, once inside keys and endpoint, it's good practice to store these values securely in configuration file or environment variable rather than hard coding them. Second, if you're working with multiple environment like development environment, staging, production, make sure each environment has its own credentials to avoid security risks. So if you want to copy, you can just click on these buttons and it will copy your keys and it will copy your endpoints. Okay, now that we have successfully created our Azure AI language service, let's test it before we jump into actual coding. For this, we will use Language Studio, which is a built-in Azure AI tool to help us to interact with the service without writing a single code. Let's go back to the overview page of our Azure AI language service and scroll down. And here you will see one more option, Get Started with Language Studio. Click on Get Started with Language Studio. This will open a new page. Just check the top right corner you are logged in or not. If it is showing sign in, just click on it to sign in. After logged in, it will prompt a pop-up to select Azure resources for doing practical with language service. So let's select the subscription. It's already selected. Resource type, here we have couple of other options like cognitive services, translator, language, etc. So we are just choosing language, and now we have to select the resource name. So our resource name is AI Demo Language Service. Finally, click on Done button. After a few seconds, it is ready to use. Let's wait. And here we go. On the home page, we can see a couple of other options under the language service, but we need to find a language detection. So let's go to the classify text from the top tabs, and here you can find the language detection service. So here it is, detect language. Here we will try to test with two different languages. So start testing. Let's click on try it out. So platform is loaded with our language service, and here we have a text box where we can enter our words or like whatever statement we want to write here, we can put it here. Here either you can enter your text under enter your text section, or upload the file as well. Apart from this, we have already some options to fill the text in a few specific language and tell. So let's click on the English first and click to run. Perfect. Language detected with 99% confidence score. Let's try one more with the French and click to run. Awesome. It's also detected the 100% confidence score. And if you see the text, it is in French. Finally, let's try with our own text. So let's add some text in the input box and click on run button. So let me find out the good text here. So I'll go to our YouTube video. So as this is my first video, I'm just going to take the description from here, and I'll go and paste it here, and we'll click on run button. So let's see. Awesome. It's detected, and confidence score is 98% with the English language. Great. Let's go to the translator service. And we will convert this to French. Awesome. Let's copy the text from here and go back to our language studio and enter these texts here in French. So now all the text has been converted into French. So let's try and run. Awesome. It's detected the language in French with the confidence score 100%. Awesome. Great. Now one more try. I'll go and change the language to Hindi. That is the Indian language, and we will see. Awesome. It's converted to Hindi. Let's copy, go back to the language studio again and paste it here. Go below and click on run button. Perfectly fine. So you can see here it detected the language as Hindi with the confidence score 100%. If you talk about the accuracy, longer text help Azure AI improve accuracy. So testing with the full sentence is better than using just a word. Now you can test with other language like Japanese, Arabic, or any other language to see how Azure AI detect different texts. Awesome. Now that we have confirmed our AI services working properly, we are ready to move on to the actual coding implementation. Next, I'll show you how we can use the service in a real world application. So let's go. All right, before we move ahead with the practical implementation, if you found this tutorial helpful, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to click on the bell icon, and so you never miss an update on latest tech tutorial. So let's keep learning and build amazing AI powered applications together. Before we dive into the practical parts, let's cover some prerequisites. Basic knowledge of C#. You should know basics for C# programming language, where you should know how to write if-else statement, switch cases and class and its method. If you know how to work with the variables, loops, and functions, you are ready to go. Don't worry, if you are not expert, I'll guide you through the coding process. Azure account. You'll need an active Azure account to access the Azure OpenAI service. Make sure your account is set up and ready for use. You can check your subscription status in the Azure portal. If you are new, Azure provides free credits to help you get started. Visual Studio Code installed. Lastly, make sure you have Visual Studio Code or any C# IDE installed on your machine. If you are not familiar with Visual Studio Code, let's download Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is a powerful tool that helps you to write and debug your code. Please find the Visual Studio Code links for downloading in description of the video. When integrating Azure AI language detection into an application, developers can use two primary methods. If you want full control over requests or need a lightweight, quick integration, use REST API. If you're building an enterprise-grade app and want built-in Azure AI feature without managing HTTP requests manually, use SDK. Each approach has its advantage. The right choice depends on project requirements, scalability, and ease of integration. For this demonstrations, we are going to use SDK approach. There are two available SDKs. One is the latest version, while the other is older and may be deprecated soon. To ensure long-term compatibility and access to modern features, it's best to use the newer SDK. The Azure.ai.text Analytics SDK is the best choice because it is a part of the modern Azure SDK for .NET, actively maintained and follows the latest best practices. It supports important AI features like language detection, sentiment analysis, and entity recognition, and many more. On the other hand, Microsoft.Azure.Cognitive Service .language.text analytics is an older SDK that might be deprecated soon. Lacks support for newer Azure AI feature and is not recommended for new application. To ensure compatibility with the future updates and access to the best AI tool, it's always better to go with newer Azure.ai.text analytics SDK. Now, let's get into the practical part of our session. We will build a simple web application that detects the language of user message in real time. And based on that, it will respond. This will show you how language detections can improve user interactions. First thing first, launch VS Code. If you don't have it yet, download and install it. You can find the link from the description. This is where all the magic happens. Now navigate to the location where you want to create your project and select this folder. Now click to three dots just after the run menu and choose terminal and then new terminal. Here we need to write a command to create .NET Razor web app. To create .NET Core Razor app using the .NET CLI, we need to type this command where we are giving a name of the application as language detection app. For this example, I'll be using a .NET Core Razor application, but you can choose what works best for you like Windows application or .NET Core API. So press enter and boom. You got a basic C# .NET Core Razor application ready. Now navigate to the project and run .NET run command. And it will start building your application and it will start your applications to be run. So application has been started. Now you can see, now listening on this port. Let's press Ctrl C to terminate. Now let's install required packages for language detection. Let's write the command in the terminal as .NET add package azure.ai.text analytics and press enter. This command installs the Azure OpenAI SDK. This SDK allows us to easily connect to the Azure OpenAI services and use its feature like language detections. It simplifies the process of making API calls and handling response. So let's start installing one more package. So before installing, let's clear the command and type .NET add package microsoft.extensions.configuration.json and press enter. Awesome. This is also installed. Let's clear the command. Before moving, let's add the secret key and endpoint in our configuration file, which we created on Azure folder for our Azure AI language service. So let's open Explorer and go to the app setting, and here we need to add a configuration which will store Azure AI language service configurations like key and endpoint. So let's add it. So I'll add here configurations where we need to add endpoints and API keys. So let's replace your API key and your endpoint with the actual credential from the Azure, which we have already created with the language services. So now our Azure endpoints and API keys are ready. So let's close it. After setting a Azure AI credential, now it's time to create our UI from where we can pass the text and it will detect a language. So for it, let's go to the pages in .NET Razor Page applications and go to index.chtml file. So here you can see this is the HTML, and so now we have to add here one text box and button, and when we will click on the button, it will automatically detect a language and show the language below to button. So for it, I just need to add some code here. So let me add that code. So I have already written this text box. So don't confuse with this user text. This is the one properties which we are going to define in our class file. So before it, let's add some CSS as well. So let's go to the www root folder and CSS, and here we have a site.css. Now here at the bottom, I'm just going to add few CSS to make application beautiful. So here we have added couple of CSS which is going to make our UI little bit more responsive and beautiful. So now go back to our index.html file here, and here we have to do all the magics for language detection. So before starting, I'll add few namespace like Azure, and then using Azure.ai.text analytics. Now we have to define one properties which we are using under the index.html. This is going to be a user text. So whenever user will type something, we will go and map it to user text. So let's go to the html.cs file and type find property and define the property name. So we are going to user text. Now it's time to create the instance of the text analytics client. So let's do it. So here we are going to use all the credentials from the app setting.json file. For it, we need a configuration. So let's add it. iConfigurations and then configurations. Now let's access endpoint key and point equal to configuration, and it is Azure AI. Similarly, we have to get the keys as well. So let's do it. Now we have to create the credentials. So where credential equal to new Azure P and pass the API key. So now we have to create the instance of text analytics client. So let's do it. If you see the definition of it, it is looking for the URI endpoint and the credential. So let me pass the URI, new URI, and pass the endpoint, and then pass the credential. So far so good. Now our client is ready to detect the language. Okay. So now go and create one more method as post. Here we need to first of all get the data from the user text properties and we need to validate it. So let's validate it first. String dot is null or empty and then pass the user text. Here first we need to validate the user text, and if it is not appropriate, we need to return a valuable message. So let's return through the view data. So view data is a way to return data from CS file to HTML file. Detected language and equal to pass the message as please enter the text to detect the language and return. So we don't need to do anything further if there is no data. If we have a data, we need to detect a language. For detecting a language, let's capture the response and detect the language through text and a client dot detect language and pass the user text here. So detect language is inbuilt function here which takes the input as a user text and it will automatically detect the language. Now we have to pass the language name. So we need to use again view data and in a same property detected language we need to just get the response. So response dot value dot name of the language. So now it's time to run the applications. Now let's go to the terminal again. And here we need to run the application. Let's start building. And here we go. Now application is running on this port. So let's click on it, this link. Awesome. So now you can see the look and feel. So here, earlier our application was like this, where we don't have any input box or button. Now we have converted to this one where we have an input box where we can type any text, and then we have a button which will help us to detect a language. And below we are going to show the detected language. So let's try it. For getting a content, I'm just going to our YouTube channel, going to more and getting a content from here and going and pasting on this website. So let's detect language. Awesome. It detected language is English. Now let's do one more try. Now we will convert this from English to French and copy the text of French. Go back to our applications, remove it and paste the French content. Now click on the detect language again. Awesome. It's detecting. Now our language is French. One more try we will do and we will detect Hindi language. Okay. So It's converted the text. Let's go back to our demo and let's paste it here and click on detect language button. Awesome. I don't have a word to say, but it's detecting language very quickly. As you can see, the application is detecting language in real time. This can be incredibly useful for applications that serve a global audience. You can imagine how this feature can be enhanced user experience in a chat application, customer support, and many more. Now, Azure AI language detection works, and now you are ready to integrate it into your own real world application. But did you know there are hidden features that you can make your implementation smarter, faster, and more efficient? Use confidence score for accuracy. Azure Language Detection provides a confidence score along with the detected language. Use this to filter out low confidence result and improve precision. Batch requests for efficiency. Instead of analyzing text individually, use batch processing to send multiple input in a single request. This speed up performance and reduce API cost. Handle multi-language text smartly. Some texts contain multiple languages. Make sure your application can analyze mixed language inputs and choose the dominant one or separate segment accordingly. Integrated language detection with translation. Pair language detection with the Azure Translator to create seamless multilingual content and enhance global user interaction. Consider regional language variations. Some languages have regional dialects that impact detection accuracies. Use context-based processing or custom ML model to refine detection result. Use pre-processing for better detection. Remove special character, noise, and irrelevant text before sending data to Azure AI to enhance detection accuracy and reduce API misinterpretation. To wrap up, we have covered a lot today. We have explored the theoretical aspect of language detection, set up the Azure AI language detection service, test it with the Azure AI Language Studio, and built a practical application with .NET Core Azure Pages. This is our first video, and if you found this video very helpful and you learned something, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe our channel for more AI related content and leave your question in the comment below. I love to hear your thoughts and any project you are working. Also, don't forget to check the description for link to resources and code snippet. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.